Dead Space 3 is a game that is a fantastic example of a mixed bag. It did some great things, but it also dropped the ball in a great many ways. So let's dive in and see just what went wrong and how it could have been better. Fair warning, the characters in this game often use profanity, so if you're bothered by that sort of thing, then this is your warning. We open with a flashback in which we play as Tim Kaufman in search of a mysterious item in a wrecked ship. Now, this will become more important late in the game, but for now, this codex is a mysterious plot device. Interestingly, Tim's rig has all of the features of Isaac's that we have in the game's present year. This was probably just to save on game resources, as this is a suit that Isaac can obtain later on, and Tim even uses some pitch-shifted cries from Isaac.
Oh. Alpha Niner, this is Whiskey 250. Come on. Alpha Niner, this is Whiskey 250. Serrano, do you read me?
Tim! Oh, thank God! Did you find it?
Find it. Doc, I'm not even sure what we're looking for.
Just follow the waypoint that sent you. I can't tell you anymore. Just get there. Do you hear me? You have to get there.
What?
Oh, it's lost.
What? Dang it! I got it. Doc, I got it.
Tim, where are you?
Hey, Doc, I'm hanging from a cliff, but I got whatever this is.
The codex! It's the key to saving everything. Meet me at the silo and don't stop for anyone.
Tim is unfortunately gunned down by his superior, who then turns his weapon on himself after purging the data of the codex. I mean, at least he's committed, I guess.
Fine young soldiers, every one of them.
General Mahad, sir.
Where's Dr. Serrano?
Earl Serrano, always the optimist.
Well, he said I should take this into the city. He said there's still time to stop it, sir. There's still time.
We lost control! And now, for the love of Earth and the sovereign colonies, we've got to do what's right. You love the Earth, son? Your mom and dad?
Yes, sir, of course.
Good. Glad to hear that.
There's a lot of information in rapid succession in this first sequence, so I'm going to let it play first before going over it bit by bit.
Brothers and sisters, the age of man is at an end. We have become too many, too little to go around. Corporations will be one
Playback, message 34.
Isaac, I know you're there. Come on, pick up the phone. Fine. Look, I just called to say I'm moving on. I have to. Just take care of yourself, okay?
You Isaac Clarke?
Get the fuck off me.
Answer me! Tim? Who the hell are you?
Lift him up. Up! I don't have a lot of time, so I want to make this brief. I understand you're something of an expert on markers. You created one,
I didn't make shit. Your government made me.
and you destroyed two, which is why we're here. We got a job for you.
No. No! I'm done with that. You find somebody else for your suicide mission.
We did, before we lost contact with her. She told us to find you.
Ellie. Where is she? What'd you do to her? Where is she?
Unitologists have breached the inner concourse. We can't hold them!
Captain, run out of time, gotta go.
She's out there all alone, Isaac, and I can't help her unless you help me.
Okay. Okay!
Here.
Let's get moving.
We begin the story proper with Isaac Clarke in his shabby apartment on the lunar colony. Overhead is a message from a figure we'll see much more of later, but for now, let's suffice to say that it's got no shortage of doom and gloom. It's interesting to see that this is just being publicly broadcasted though. This indicates that this man either has permission from the government to do so, or that they don't care or aren't capable of stopping him, or that he's taking control of the systems. None of these bode well. We then see that Isaac has a photo of himself and Ellie from the previous game, implying that they formed a romantic relationship afterwards, but it has been torn in half, suggesting that it ended on bad terms. The voicemail message from Ellie and the alcohol bottles on the table add further evidence to this as well. I have to say, I personally hate when media does this. They work up to having two characters form a connection with each other, and then in the next installment, it's been destroyed off screen. Often, this is just a tactic to let them cheaply run through the same arc again, possibly because they don't know what to do with the characters otherwise. Now, I'm certainly not one of those people that gets into shipping fictional characters, but character romances are a thing that can and likely will happen in many stories. It's just a natural progression. That's what happens in real life. But Isaac's front door opens, and he takes a hold of his trusty plasma cutter, which isn't the one he cobbled together in the last game, expecting a threat. This does speak volumes about his situation. Given that he's expecting to be attacked, we can infer that the situation he's found himself in since the previous game hasn't been good. It's also interesting that he and Ellie have been able to live like normal people, given that Isaac had been held by the government in the previous game, and Ellie was known to have been on Titan Station in Dead Space 2, meaning that the government would know that she witnessed a necromorph outbreak. So you'd imagine that it would be difficult for them to integrate back into society without the government trying to snatch them both up to cover up what they'd been doing with the markers. But apparently that somehow wasn't the case, unless they managed to fake their identities. But somehow, one of the intruders has already made his way quietly into Isaac's apartment and takes him by surprise, disarming him and holding him at gunpoint. This even damages Isaac enough that his health indicator on his rig moves from full to about half. The two intruders quickly identify Isaac and inform him that they need him for a mission involving the markers. Interestingly, they're from EarthGov, the antagonists of the previous game, but matters have escalated beyond their control, which we'll see shortly. Isaac is initially adamant about not helping them, but an explosion occurs outside, and the officer's comms indicate that this was the work of the Unitologists. led by the man featured on the Doomsday broadcast. Isaac relents after the officer informs him that he needs his help to find Ellie, and Isaac still clearly cares about her, no matter how their relationship ended.
Hey. Who the hell are you guys?
Earth Gov's last battalion. Name's Norton. Captain Robert Norton. Sergeant John Carver.
Last battalion? What do you mean?
Last means last, genius, as in no more left. Looks clear.
No more left.
That's all right. Let's go. Now let's get the car. Go, go!
So Norton and Carver are from EarthGov's last battalion. How EarthGov went from controlling pretty much all of human space to one battalion is a mystery. Given that a battalion is defined as up to 1,000 soldiers, that's quite the heavy hit they've taken. But the three are ambushed by Unitologists, and one of them blows himself up, separating Isaac from the others. It's strange that a Unitologist would do that, given the lengths we saw them go to in Dead Space 2 to preserve their bodies after death. For those who need a refresher, Unitologists believe that the markers are holy relics left by their god, which will unite all of humanity into one mind and body after death. So it's a bit odd that one would elect to have his body torn to shreds by an explosion. But getting into the gameplay, the first thing we're confronted with is human enemies armed with guns. Now, this is a first, aside from the scripted event in Dead Space 2. Previously, combat was exclusively against necromorphs, and this is very telling about what this game is about. EA clearly dug their claws into this game. The first was very much horror-focused, and had the least amount of publisher interference. The second was when it started to become noticeable, but it wasn't overpowering, and was a mix of action and horror. This game is much more action-oriented than the previous titles. This is also laid bare by how weak the plasma cutter is compared to the previous entries, where it was the main general-purpose weapon. It wasn't the best at any given task, but it could perform most tasks reasonably well. Here, though, it's rather weak, and its default sensitivity is quite low. The submachine gun the game gives you as your second weapon isn't much better. Now, this is obviously meant to entice you to craft your own weapons, which is fun, but it's a double-edged sword. In the prior games, you could pick from a selection of weapons, all with their own strengths and weaknesses. Now, though, you can craft weapons, some of which can be incredibly powerful. It can be fun, but also takes away a bit from the strategy when you can just do everything. But back to the story, the Unitologists are after Isaac, given that he's destroyed 2 markers in the past, making him a threat to their religion, and so they'll stop at nothing to take him out. They even take out any innocent person in their way.
Have you seen this man?
Please,
Where is he?
I don't know!
The Unitologists have anticipated Norton's plan, though, and ambush Isaac as he reaches the rendezvous point, and he takes several bullets in the process.
Take them out! This one's still alive. Bring him here.
Isaac Clarke. Just the man I was looking for. Oh, don't waste your energy. You're going to be dead in a matter of minutes. Pick him up. There's something I'd like you to see. There. You see that? That's a marker test lab. They're everywhere at all the major colonies and outposts.
What do you want from me?
As part of the marker test program, Isaac, you helped make them. And today, you of all people get to watch me set them free.
No. No. You'll kill everyone.
Death is only the beginning, Isaac. Nature must take its course, and I can't allow you or anyone else to stop that. Eyes forward, Isaac. Pay attention. And now it's time for you to join the cycle of rebirth.
So the Unitologists are led by Danik, who sabotages the nearby marker shroud, releasing its energy and all that entails. You see, the government had been constructing markers as they were a source of seemingly limitless energy, but they also drove the people insane and created necromorphs if left unshielded. And so with the Unitologists having slaughtered everyone in their path during their hunt for Isaac, this leaves no shortage of fresh cadavers to be turned into necromorphs. Isaac also demonstrates why you don't want to be that close to an opponent when you have a gun. Range is your friend. I would still love to know how EarthGov went down between games with barely more than a few lines of dialogue to cover it. They were the ones keeping the Unitologists back, as deplorable as both parties were, and yet now they've almost entirely vanished. What gives? But Isaac is able to fight his way to the train station, though how he just shrugged off the bullet wounds is a bit of a question. He manages to use his engineering skills to get one up and running while Norton has his ship fly over it. Isaac makes a leap for it, but Carver needs to help him up. Bizarrely though, the ship shocks out while the two are still on the bay ramp. How is that safe for them? That should have been lethal.
Missile block. Mark in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Captain, I've got it. Take us out of here now.
Who's that?
Boy.
Cute kid. You leave him
He's
behind?
dead. Danik killed him. And his mother.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't be. We're not friends.
Ouch. So, we get some establishment for Carver. A bit hastier than I would have liked, but it gets the job done. Now, Carver is the playable character in co-op, a first for the series. But the game oftentimes doesn't quite know how to handle him if there is no player 2. In most cutscenes, he'll be just off screen, ready for the action to resume once the players are back in control. But in single player, he'll just vanish with a throwaway line of him being somewhere else and taking another route. There are also missions locked behind co-op, and they demonstrate how Carver is having marker-induced hallucinations like Isaac did in the previous game. But as I said, they're locked behind co-op, and the experience is tied to being player 2. Later sections of the game seem to be designed for co-op, as there will be large quantities of enemies that can easily overwhelm solo players. That is unfortunately a net negative.
"15 seconds to target."
Standing by to D-shop.
All right, people, we're going in blind, so stay tight on that exit vector. Rosen, count it out.
Exit beacon locked. De-shocking in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The hell is that?
Moon. What's left of one. Rosen!
I see it!
Christ, this place is a junkyard.
More like a graveyard.
Any sign of Ellie's ship?
I'm reading several transponders, but none of them are ours. According to the registry, they're sovereign colonies' warships.
You serious? They'd be over 200 years old.
Wait, I'm getting something. It's an SOS coming from that ship dead ahead. The CMS Roanoke.
It could be Ellie.
Yeah, let's hope so. All right, Rosen, close to 500 clicks.
Aye, sir.
Those lights, they beacons?
Hang on. No. Mike!
Rosen, get us out of here!
Collision warning. Brace for impact.
I can't!
And seal up that doorway!
Since when are you giving the orders?
Since somebody else has a fucking plan! Look, I'll explain as I go. Carver, where can I find an EVA suit? Carver, down that way!
The Eudora exits shock space at Ellie's last known coordinates, and they behold the remnants of the Sovereign Colony's warships. Now, these vessels are 200 years old, but they apparently deployed mines before they and their crews went defunct, which makes short work of the Eudora. Interestingly, these mines have glowing lights and seem to home in on the Eudora, and they'll also home in on nearby players once you eventually go into space. This means that they have a power and fuel source which somehow lasted for 2 centuries. Can you imagine? That would be like finding a machine from the 1800s still running without ever having run out of fuel. We also get to see the first real beginnings of the dynamic between Isaac and Norton. Isaac's been pretty much in the thick of things ever since the events of the Ishimura in Dead Space 1. This is hardly the first crumbling spacecraft he's been on. Norton is in over his head. I suspect that he only has the rank he does due to those above him dying, seeing as there's no one else left for the EarthGov forces. Given that they were stated to be a battalion, it's a bit odd that their ranks here could be counted on one hand. Norton's the kind of guy who desperately clings to every shred of power he can manage, and snaps at anyone who even shows an inkling of threatening it. I've met several people like that in my time, and they are always insufferable. Even though Isaac is the one to come up with a plan, Norton clearly resents him for it, feeling as though everyone should just wait on his every command.
I am the king! I will punish you.
Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
But the Eudora is dust, though Isaac, Norton, and Carver managed to get the other 2 crew members without space-equipped rigs into a sealed chamber that they then dock with the abandoned Roanoke. Fun fact, most of, if not all of the ships in the Sovereign Colonies, shortened to SCAF fleet, are named after towns or people that had suffered some kind of ill fate. The Roanoke colony had all of its residents disappear mysteriously between 1585 and 1590. So Isaac makes his way inside to open up the Roanoke's cargo doors, and he soon encounters necromorphs. These have a more desiccated look to them, which is a nice touch, showing that necromorphs will shut down if convergence isn't achieved and all available biomass has been assimilated. There are also numerous manual cranks to open doors, which is an additional feature that helps lend immersion, seeing as these are old ships and might not have the same automated systems. But Isaac eventually gets the ship's power back on and reconvenes with Ellie at long last.
You found us.
Oh, Ellie, baby. I knew you were too stubborn to die.
Captain, is this him?
Yeah, that's him.
Isaac Clarke, great to meet you. Austin Buckle, Marker Ops. This here is Jennifer Santos, our little lady with the big brain.
If it's true you can decipher the marker script, this mission might still have a chance.
Isaac, thank you for coming.
Like I had a choice.
I know, I'm sorry. But I have so much to tell you.
Oh, all right, come on. We have to get out of here now.
No, not yet. Isaac, we need to stop the marker.
The trail ends at the Admiral's quarters. She'd written marker scroll all over the walls. The answers are in there. I know it. We cannot leave until we know what it says.
Yeah, well, then let Isaac handle the translating. We're leaving now. I got Buckle, you get Santos. Let's go.
Oh.
Go on, take care of your crew. They need you more than I do.
So, first off, oof. Really, Ellie? This wretch? Him? What quality made you go for this filth? Moving on from that, though, Ellie wants Isaac to translate the marker script that the captain had written in her quarters, seeing as he's the only one here who can decipher it. What's interesting about this is that Ellie spent time in a necromorph outbreak in proximity to a marker just like Isaac did, but she doesn't seem to suffer the effects that everyone else does. This reminds me of Lexine Weller, a character featured in Dead Space Extraction and the Severed DLC of Dead Space 2. She was seemingly immune to the marker influence, and even seemed to stop it from advancing in those who were in close proximity to her. While Ellie never demonstrated the latter trait, she's never been shown to be affected by the markers. So this means that Isaac needs to do the decoding. When he reaches the captain's quarters, he makes an astonishing discovery.
Ellie, Carver, we've reached the Admiral's quarters. Isaac's.
Turn it off.
Hey, Isaac!
Turn it
Isaac?
off.
Carver, what's going on?
Turn it off.
Isaac! Hey!
Turn it off.
Hey!
What is it? What's going on?
Nothing. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Ellie, the Admiral was obsessed with making a key.
A key to what?
Hey! A key to what?
Some sort of alien device. A machine. I think that she believed that it controlled the markers.
Oh my god.
She wanted to turn it off. She wrote that over and over again like a mantra.
Or instructions. This is exactly what we've been looking for. This isn't just some random planet, Isaac. They found the source. The marker homeworld.
You have got to be shitting me.
Marker homeworld.
Alright, let's regroup in the control room. We can plan our next move from there.
So Isaac and the others believe that this frozen planet and its moon are the key to stopping the markers, as it's their homeworld. Somewhere down there is a machine that can turn off the marker signal and thus end the necromorph threat once and for all. One point though, she scrawled this in marker script. More than that, she wrote it over and over again on the wall. That's not the doings of a sane individual. Buckles found out about a shuttle docked in one of the nearby ships, but Ellie and Norton argue about its usage. Ellie wants to make for the planet to find this alien machine, but Norton wants to use it to get to a shipping lane and get back home.
Buckle here. We've tracked down a scrapped transport shuttle. It's called the Crozier.
If we can get it space-worthy again, we can use it to reach the planet's surface.
No chance. We find the shuttle, then we're getting the hell out of here.
Damn it, Robert! If we don't stop the markers, there won't be anything to go back to.
Either way, it looks like the shuttle's our only shot. Where is it?
The biggest ship of the fleet, the Terra Nova. But it's a long walk.
Well, they must have had some way to travel between ships.
If there's a way, we'll find it.
Bit of a problem there, Norton. There's a necromorph outbreak on the moon. Do you really think that people there didn't try to escape to the nearby Earth, and by proxy bring the necromorphs along? That's exactly how the Ishimura fell. The moon is gone, and Earth likely won't fare much better. In fact, we hear the marker on Luna give off the telltale sign of a convergence event beginning. As we'll find out later, that means that it should already be game over. There isn't a home to go back to. It feels like at this point the writers have forgotten about the opening of the game, or at the very least hope that we have. Between necromorphs and unitologists, humanity has already lost. We're extinct.
Isaac, Norton here.
Are you contacting me on a private channel?
Because I need to know if you're on my side.
We're taking sides now?
I know you two had a thing, but she's mine now, and I love her too much to let her do this.
If she's right and this is the Marker homeworld, maybe there's a chance of stopping this.
Look, we both know how this is going to end. If they found a way to stop the Markers 200 years ago, don't you think we'd all be safe by now? It doesn't add up. Oh, I get it. I get it. You think you and her... Yeah, we'll forget it. She's over, all right?
So now we commit to the love triangle plotline in earnest. Yes, that's what we needed in the final game of this series. A love triangle. This is almost entirely Norton's purpose after roping Isaac into this mission. He's here to fight Isaac over Ellie. Dead Space 2 Ellie would never have had anything to do with this vermin. And even if she did, she'd have kicked him to the curb once she noticed this sort of behavior. This is supposed to be the conclusion of the storyline, and we're wasting time on this drivel. On the way towards the shuttle, Isaac will come across a scavenger bot. The player will be able to have 3 of these at any given time on their playthrough, and you can place them in areas to harvest resources for crafting. These areas generally have an audio cue, and the scavenger bot will point you towards the nearest location, but in my first playthrough back in the day, I almost completely forgot about these things. Crafting better weapons is essential, and it made my playthrough more difficult because I didn't use them. This plays into how this game's looting system works. In the previous games, you found ammunition for specific weapons, money, or schematics to buy new things at the shops. Here, though, you generally just find generic ammo or resources that have far less recognizability. I knew that I had found ammo for the plasma cutter when I found plasma energy. When I find tungsten, it's just this nebulous thing that has no real context. Indeed, this game also doesn't generally require the same precision that the prior two did, and the amount of regular military weapons available reflects this. Part of Dead Space's charm was that most of the weapons were repurposed tools or mining equipment that lent the ability to dismember necromorphs rather than penetrate them like standard firearms. This game lets you blast away and do reasonably well. The player will then encounter unique regenerating necromorphs that cannot be killed, leaving fleeing as their only option, so I didn't particularly care for this sequence. The Hunter in Dead Space 1 was explained as a creation of Mercer, and eventually, you did kill it via incineration. The Ubermorph in Dead Space 2 appeared to be the very early stages of a hive mind, given its facial protrusions and its proximity to the marker. You never killed it, but the path ahead was set up very fluidly for you to flee from it. These regenerators have little to no explanation, and the area they're encountered in is narrow and cluttered with enemies. Yes, I said they. There are 2 of them.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Even if you're not in co-op, 2 regenerators will be chasing you, and you have to wait on the vague arrival of the tram to escape. 1 would have been more than sufficient, but 2 just takes the game from tense to annoying. And given the number of additional enemies, it's clear that this sequence was designed with a second player in mind. So, after Isaac gets the shuttle repaired enough for it to move, Ellie does, well, this.
Okay, tank's full. Try again.
That's more like it. Okay, I'm initiating a test fire of the shuttle's engine. Take cover. This could get hot. That stupid bloody ancient techno. Oh God. Isaac, I think I just started the launch sequence, and I don't know how to stop it.
You what?
Look, just get out of that chamber before it bakes you to a crisp.
Really? Ellie wasn't stupid in the previous game, so why is she stupid now? Her idiocy causes Isaac and Carver, if there's a second player, to nearly be burned alive, and she never brings this up again. No, are you okay? No, I'm so sorry. Nothing. Ugh. Ellie's character has been thoroughly run through the meat grinder in this game, and it will only get worse. Isaac is still mostly intact, but the writers dragged her through the mud, and it really doesn't sit well with me.
Oh God, it's begun the final countdown! You did it! He did it! Thank God, Isaac!
Attaboy, Isaac!
Okay, everybody. Let's get the docking bay ready to receive the shuttle. Isaac, we'll see you when you get back.
So, how's the shuttle look?
Yeah, this thing needs more than plating. It's missing the port engine.
There's a small wreck near the Greeley. It could be a shuttle.
We should check it out.
All right, Rosen, lock, suit up. You're on engine duty.
But sir, my legs...
Yeah, I'm not asking you to do jumping jacks. Now get moving.
All right. Hey, Rosen, I'll meet you there.
Whatever.
So the shuttle still needs some parts though, and Norton sends Michael Rosen out to attach them while Isaac gathers them.
Hello!
This dialogue is a prime example of the difference between a boss and a leader. A leader inspires. When people see a leader, they try harder, because a leader is out on the front, doing the most difficult or possibly dangerous jobs themselves. A leader has the best interests of their people in mind. A boss just snaps at their people to do tasks while doing little to nothing themselves. When people see a boss, they think, great, it's gonna be one of those days. Norton is a boss. If you're ever in a position of authority or power, don't be a Norton.
I think that does it. We should have all the parts we need.
Thank God. Now let's plot a course for the nearest shipping lane and get the hell out of here.
No, Robert. We're going to the planet.
Ellie, I know that's how this all started, but we are in way over our heads. We can't take on a whole planet full of those goddamn things.
If not us, then who? EarthGov is gone. Robert, we're the only ones left who can do this, and you know it.
Ellie, you have to admit it sounds crazy. I mean, how do we know there's really a solution down there?
Because you told me. In the Admiral's quarters, you said, turn it off. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
Damn straight. Captain, we can't pass this up.
Carver, I don't need your mutiny on top of all this. If I say we're not going, we're not going.
No, Ellie's right. There's a shot here and we're gonna take it. Now, you can come with us, or you can try to stop us, but remember, around here, we're worse dead than alive. Ellie, get the shuttle prepped. I'm on my way.
As the crew finish up with the shuttle, Norton again tries to get them to run away, but Ellie and Carver want to go down to the planet. Isaac tries to negotiate peacefully, but Norton, being a boss instead of a leader, tries to pull rank. If someone pulls rank, they are an idiot, plain and simple. If they're resorting to that, then they don't have a reason for their actions and should thus be disregarded. The game still thinks that there's a home for our cast to return to though, which there almost certainly is not.
Well, I'm glad to see you too. What's that look for? This is going to work, right?
Our window's coming up. We go now or not at all.
We also get a clear look at how Ellie has gotten a replacement eye after her right eye was gouged out by Strauss with a screwdriver in Dead Space 2. This one is green instead of her natural blue, giving her an artificial form of heterochromia. While this looks really cool, in real life the most common cause of this is inbreeding, so that's a bit of a yikes. It's not the only cause, just the most common, but as the crew makes their way down to the planet, things don't go smoothly. Isaac survives the crash, but is separated from the others. He has a habit of calling out Ellie's name way too frequently here, and he might do so more in co-op. At least it felt like he did.
Ellie! 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 Ellie!
His suit has been damaged though, and can't form a complete seal, leading to him losing body heat if he stays in the snow for too long. Unfortunately, this is measured in Celsius. I never learned that. I know that a yard is very similar to a meter, but learning the metric system is difficult. I've tried numerous times. Plenty of resources tell you what the prefixes mean, but give little to nothing beyond that. Genuinely, I have no perception of how far a kilometer is, or what 34 degrees Celsius is. Please, someone, explain this in a way that makes sense. Anyway, Isaac eventually comes across something rather distressing.
Ellie! No!
Isaac, if you find this... God, Ellie, come on! We're freezing to death out here! I'm coming! We're on our way to find some shelter. But I'm gonna leave you this trail of flares.
If the man's dead, Ellie, let's go!
Isaac, please, be alive!
Come on!
Really? Forget whoever you were, I guess. No, I get that he was afraid that that was Ellie, but it's still really funny that he just disregarded that corpse immediately. But the others are alive and have left flares behind, which Ellie somehow had. But they aren't the only thing out here. A large necromorph stalks Isaac as he tries to find his way through the blizzard, until eventually he comes across...
Buckle. Isaac. Well, I'll be damned.
Where is everyone?
They headed for a research facility up the ridge. We found snowsuits, but there weren't enough to go around, so I decided to stay behind. There might be more down in the basement.
Might be.
The elevator shot, and we heard something scratching around down there, so we didn't check.
Buckle.
Well, so long, Buckle. You really didn't contribute much, but at least you were better than Norton. It's also odd that Isaac's rig can protect him from space, but not the cold when only its helmet is malfunctioning. I get that cold kills, but you'd think that Isaac would last a bit longer than he does. Isaac does make his way into the lower levels of the facility, where he does acquire a snowsuit to allow him to survive the temperature. Isaac proceeds onwards, where he calls out to Carver, but is confronted by the Snow Beast. This fight honestly isn't very well designed. You have to destroy the tentacles on its back, then you have one shot to destroy the ones in its mouth before those regenerate. All while this thing just charges at you in a way that's extremely difficult to avoid. I ended up using so much stasis energy that I ran out. Again, this works better in co-op, but if you're solo, then you're just out of luck.
About time. Isaac.
Isaac.
You made it.
Thank God.
I knew you'd catch up.
Good to see you made it, Isaac. Yeah, maybe we should give you two some time alone, huh?
What the hell does that mean?
It means for someone who's in the past, you're awfully glad to see him.
We need him. This mission needs
Come on,
him.
we need him or you need him?
Hey, you got something to say to me, Captain?
Stop. Just stop. We need to shut down that damn machine, and we don't even know where it is yet.
I do. I mean, I think I know how to find it. Well, I've been digging through what's left of the research notes, and...
I thought all that stuff was destroyed.
Well, computer data, yes. But the written logs discuss a signal tracking experiment that pinpointed the machine's exact location. Well, I think if we repeat it, we can do the same. But it's at the other end of the complex.
Yeah, fine. Fine, let's have a look. I could use a change of scenery.
He's a real asshole. You know that?
So now the love triangle is in full force, and it offers nothing to this game. I might, keyword might, be able to buy it if this was marker-induced dementia, but it starts before that could become a factor. It's just unneeded melodrama.
Everybody move!
How the hell did Danek's men find us?
Come on! Come on! Run!
Ellie! Go! We'll meet up at the warehouse!
But the unitologists have found this place, and now we're back to having shootouts. I have to say that I much prefer fighting necromorphs. I have no shortage of shooters to pick from, so I would rather have the uniqueness of Dead Space. Side note, port the Gears of War games already. I played the first one and would buy 2 and 3 in a heartbeat. It's been long enough. It feels like this game tried to harness a bit of that style, but we do get to see a bit of necromorphs fighting unitologists fighting Isaac. It reminds me of the good old days of Halo 1, where the Covenant would fight the Flood, who would fight the Sentinels, all while the player could choose whether or not to get involved. More games need this. After Isaac manages to lose Danek's troops, a sort of boss fight ensues as he tries to dismantle a giant runaway drill, but I have to wonder what's powering these old SCAF facilities. They're 200 years old. Their parts have to be worn. Solar power, perhaps? Regardless, it's still strange. Yes, I know it's a game about zombies in space, but such an argument is disingenuous. People like to use anything different from our world to justify worse writing errors. I'm not condemning this game for this sort of thing, but when you're crafting a story, it's your job to question these things.
Okay, Ellie. We're headed to the warehouse now.
Is everything okay?
Oh yeah, between this planet trying to kill us, your boyfriend hating me, this has been a wonderful trip so far.
Robert, not usually like this. I don't know why.
Just let us fight it out, okay? One of us will win eventually. Did you find the experiment?
Yes.
And?
You'll just have to see it.
Oh, good.
Robert's not usually like this. Sure. That sort of line is used so much in fiction when a character is in a romance with someone with no redeeming qualities. I don't know why this sort of thing keeps rearing its ugly head, but it doesn't make any story it's in better. And just let us fight it out. There are a grand total of 5 of you left, and this mission is key to stopping the necromorph outbreaks once and for all. There is no room for conflict between any of you.
Holy shit.
Isaac, there you are. We're upstairs on the observation level.
What the hell is this thing?
It's bad news, that's what it is.
Beautiful, isn't it? The scientists called it the Nexus. They thought these bigger specimens acted as conduits for the machine's control signal, broadcasting it to the smaller forms.
And that helps us how?
Because I think they found the machine by tracking the signal upstream through nerve clusters inside the creature.
Well, wait. We need to get inside that thing?
Yes! This is such a wonderful opportunity.
Wonderful opportunity.
The son of a bitch is frozen solid. How do we get in?
The scientists used heat exchangers. Let me try to ignite them. No good.
There's probably a furnace on the roof. If I can find it, I can get it running again.
Isaac, be careful up there, alright?
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
So the crew have found a frozen hive mind. At least it heavily resembles the hive mind from Dead Space 1. They call it a nexus, but as far as I can discern, the two seem to be interchangeable. No matter its name, it functions as a conduit for the marker signal, which they need to trace. As Isaac first activates the power to the machinery, then constructs a probe gun, the other members of the crew all stay in the warehouse with the dormant hive mind. This always annoys me when you have several characters doing nothing. It's generally a sign that the writer didn't fully think things through. And for that matter, where are the unitologists and the necromorphs? Isaac encounters some of the latter, but the former have vanished all of a sudden. It's pretty bizarre, considering they were hot on everyone's heels a minute ago. Norton continues to protest, though given that he has no other plans or ideas, it amounts to nothing more than whinging. And this guy was a military leader? How? Isaac does have another confrontation with the Snow Beast, and its tactics are unchanged. At least this area has some more obstacles to put between yourself and the creature, though it is still a nuisance. Honestly, this thing is just a waste of time and resources to fight.
Okay, Isaac, I am done fucking around here. Danik has ships. We can take one, get out of here. If you care at all about Ellie, you will do this. For her.
Haven't you been paying attention? We're the only hope of saving our entire race.
There is no hope, Isaac. None. The best we can hope for is to survive and get the hell off this planet.
At least this time, Norton has an outline of a plan when he messages Isaac. He completely ignores that the necromorphs and unitologists both will never stop hunting them, whether it be here on Tau Volantis or wherever they escape to. This is do or die, and honestly, I'm surprised Carver doesn't end Norton himself. The little of him that's been shown depicts him as putting the mission first, and as we'll see later, there's a little he won't do to accomplish that end. Norton is a liability. It would be much better for everyone if he was removed from the scenario.
Norton, open the cage.
No.
What?
If you want to die here, now's your chance. I'm taking control of this mission again.
Hey, where you going?
Saving Ellie. Norton! Norton! Norton!
But Norton decides to attempt to leave Isaac behind. This is why you should have ended him first. We have enough antagonists with the markers and unitologists. Norton's petty love triangle plot is just a distraction.
You wouldn't believe the trouble you've saved me. Nice work.
What?
Well, here he is. The marker killer, Isaac Clarke. And here we are. The marker homeworld. You know, I must admit, I almost didn't believe such a place existed. But thanks to your friend, Norton, I finally found it.
That's how they followed us through shock space.
Well, oh, he is a bright one.
All he wants is Isaac. Carver, the rest of us can go home.
Deluded son of a bitch. Hey! You've got me. Let the others go.
It's a very difficult thing, you know, undoing the damage man has done. Everything we touch, we contaminate, we corrupt. The markers had a plan for us, but we took what should have been a magnificent gift and perverted it.
Jesus, spare us the bullshit.
I've spent an entire lifetime trying to undo the damage man has done. Fighting EarthGov's ongoing research, liberating the markers from those profane testing facilities. And now, I just have one problem left to purge. All of you.
No, you promised me a ship, Danik. We had a deal.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. But I can't afford to leave even one of you left alive. Apologies for misleading you, Captain.
So how is it that Ellie and Santos weren't apprehended while Norton and Carver were? I get that Norton was just ahead of Isaac, but the rest doesn't add up. Second, Danik was standing right next to that grenade. He should be deader than the sandwich I had this afternoon. And third, the big one, is that Norton betrayed everyone to Danik. If there was any doubt as to the validity of his idiocy, this is about as much confirmation as we could possibly ask for. He knows that the unitologists are untrustworthy, and he still went through with this. Good job, but Isaac, being too good for his own good, saves Norton's life. You really should have let Danik shoot him. But their firefight is interrupted by the hive mind. So this sequence, where Isaac is swallowed by the hive mind, is definitely cool, but I don't have a thing for 4. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. I envy you. But why would a necromorph eat something? Or have a digestive system? It's a bit odd, don't you think?
Come down here. You encouraged her. Now look where we are. Between Danik shooting at us and whatever the fuck that was, what chance have we got?
You betrayed us!
I tried to save us. You are the real problem here, Clark, but not anymore.
Captain!
Stand down, Sergeant. This is all your fucking fault. She doesn't love you.
Fuck. Come on. You won't stay dead forever, not around here.
What am I gonna tell Ellie?
Hey, you tell her the truth.
And so Isaac does what he should have done back in space. Norton's final words are, "She doesn't love you." How utterly pathetic. That was the entire reason for Norton's character existing. Note that Isaac saved him twice in the previous sequence alone. Also, his flappy noodle hands were really janky.
Ellie, come on. Norton was pointing a gun at my face. I'm sorry.
Is that supposed to make it okay? You never believed in me, or this mission, or us. I think I'll find someone else to help me, and now he's dead. You sabotaged it, just like everything else.
What's that supposed to mean? Is that what you really think?
Yes. They brought you here at gunpoint. I guess that's what it took.
I'm not here because someone put a gun to my head.
Well, Norton's dead because someone put one to his.
Really? At this point, I shouldn't be surprised. Ellie's character has been thoroughly assassinated. This isn't the Ellie of Dead Space 2. She was strong and intelligent, and not in a Mary Sue way. She knew her strengths and weaknesses and worked as a team with Isaac to overcome the necromorph outbreak on the Sprawl. This idiot is a blubbering lunatic that prioritizes a man who was a traitor, a coward, and entirely useless over the mission she's supposed to be committed to, the one that's about saving humanity. Nothing can come before that, because, newsflash, if you lose humanity, then you also lose the one you care about. This isn't Ellie. This character is some fool wearing her face.
Isaac, We're okay. We drove it off.
Oh, thank God.
Look, about Robert. I just don't understand why he would try to kill you.
He blamed me for all the trouble we're in. He kept pushing to go home. I kept pushing to stay.
Right, but the mission is all that matters. I thought Robert understood that.
I'm here for you. I mean that.
Then we get this clunky dialogue where Ellie tries to backtrack on the rant that she'd just been going on, but given the time frame, this makes her seem even more indecisive and weak. Recovery doesn't happen that quickly, and it's a sign that the writers either condensed their material or didn't know what they were doing.
Hang on to something.
Wait! I don't like this.
Just talk to me, and don't look down. What's our next step?
Well, we now know that in order to turn off the machine, we'll need some sort of key. The researchers called it the Codex.
Okay. So where is it?
We have to make one.
And how do we do that?
The same way they did 200 years ago, with Rosetta's research. Oh my God!
Take it easy, take it easy. Just blown a fuse. Maybe I can divert power from the lights. So, tell me about this, Rosetta.
Well, we don't know much. Just that the Codex was made from her research.
Where will we find it?
In the facility at the top of this mountain.
Great. See? We're almost done.
See, that wasn't so bad. Not bad. I was crying the whole way. Just get me some solid ground under my...
Santos! Carver, give me a hand! No, I got it!
Don't let him take me, please!
Isaac! It's gonna take the whole cliff face down and us with it! I can reach her! Just hang on to the winch! Santos! Give me your hand! Isaac, it's too late for that! Take it! Cover, no! Got it. God damn it! I had her! It was gonna take us all down with it!
Isaac, the cliff's falling apart!
Come on, damn it, give me your hand! I promised her! I could have reached her if I just had another second!
So the remaining members of our gang need to reconstruct the Codex that we saw destroyed in the prologue. Also, Santos could easily have just followed Ellie and Carver off the lift, but instead she just stayed where she was. I get being scared, but that was just dumb. Carver had the right of it. The cliff was crumbling, and there wasn't anything anyone could have done. But this sends Isaac down to the Snow Beast, where he finally kills it via ripping it apart with some conveniently placed harpoon guns. What convenience thy name is. Also, Isaac was dying when his helmet didn't work, but Ellie, Norton, and Santos are fine with completely exposed heads. Just a bit of an inconsistency.
Hey, it's all right. You're a good man, Isaac. You did everything you could.
No, I didn't. I gave up, Ellie. I'm so sorry.
This must be the place. But how the hell do we find this Rosetta?
She must have a lab up there someplace. We should look for an office or a set of files, anything with her name on it.
We then get a touching scene of Isaac and Ellie making up, where the dialogue alludes to the beginning of the game where he had given up on trying to stop the markers. Given that he knew the stakes, I find it difficult to believe that Isaac would have done any such thing, but this is what the writers gave us.
No. According to this, we're here to assemble Rosetta. They cut her into pieces? Oh my god.
Fuck this day. They sliced her up. Why?
I don't know. But some of the pieces are already in the assembly.
So, to compile the data from the codex to turn off the machine, Isaac needs to recover the pieces of Rosetta so that they can take the data from her brain. Oddly, despite Rosetta having been cut into several cross-sections, the three can't seem to identify at first that she isn't human. Isaac then has to trudge about the facility, gathering the other pieces while Danik has spent his time getting the PA system up and running to talk trash to him.
Fact, Isaac, as you can personally attest, man is naturally compelled to create red markers, duplicates made in the image of the original. They are as much a part of us as the planet that birthed us, perhaps even more so. We must all act our part in the natural evolution of the universe, Isaac. Something you seem rather reluctant to accept.
But eventually, Isaac does scavenge Rosetta's pieces, and once she's assembled, we're treated to something interesting.
Oh no. No, we've got it all wrong. This isn't the marker homeworld. The aliens, they found the markers just like us, and it spread. It consumed them. It pulled their bodies into the sky to form the final stage. Oh my god, the moon. The moon is the source of the marker signal, not the machine. The moon is convergence. The aliens, they built the machine to freeze the planet, to keep the moon from becoming whole. If the machine shuts down, everything thaws, and convergence has resumed, not just here, but everywhere the markers have spread.
And this is the key, turning it all off. Thank you for doing all the heavy lifting.
No! It will home in on Earth's markers and hunt us down. You don't understand what you're doing.
I misunderstood initially, that's true, but it's all quite clear to me now. It's not only mankind's tampering which has hindered our glorious rebirth, but this alien machine as well.
Stay away from that machine, Danik.
No. And now that I have this, I'll be able to turn it off. The natives of this planet chose death over evolution. Now I'll make sure humanity doesn't make the same mistake. We will, all of us, be made whole.
Well, come on, kill them.
Seize them! We have what we need! Hurry!
Isaac, the codex!
of a bitch! You jammed the door!
There's a manual override system in the control booth. I can open it from here.
No! You'll never make it out!
It's open. Go! I'm right behind you.
Door malfunction.
You gotta shut this door.
God.
Ellie, come on! Ellie!
It's no good. It's moving too fast. Isaac, do it. Just do it. Isaac! I love you.
Isaac! Hey! That gas is still coming! We gotta go! Now! She's all I got. This was her mission. She knew better than anyone how important it was. Now we've got to finish this for her! Got it? Do you got it?
Yeah.
Then let's go!
As I mentioned, turning the machine off triggers the convergence event to start all over again. When the captain wrote, "Turn it off," over and over again, that was her being influenced by the moon. The marker script should have made that obvious. Completing the machine will destroy the moon, thus ending the marker signal. Yes, the moon is a giant necromorph, the result of a convergence event. And that should be what's devouring Earth right now, given that the moon was overrun. Also, that was unintentionally hilarious. "Isaac, I love you!" slams door. So Ellie is supposedly dead. And Danik has the Codex. Isaac and Carver then pursue Danik down into the bowels of the facility, where it's discovered that this alien machine is truly colossal.
My God.
Holy shit. This must be ground zero.
And that must be the machine.
So I guess this is it, huh?
Yeah. This is it.
I need you to promise me something. If I don't make it, you'll get this done, right?
We'll get this done, Carver. You and me.
Yeah, but if I don't... I helped get us this far. And that's close enough for all this to count, right?
Count for what?
For... I don't know, just... all the bad I've done.
Oh, shut up, Carver. You're a good man.
I alienated my son. Wrecked my family. Isaac, I killed Santos. Is that what a good man does?
Good men mean well. You just don't always end up doing well.
Hey, I'm sorry about Ellie, man.
Me too. Me too.
This way! Clear that rubble! Look, it's Dan. It's not too late.
We'll turn back now, right?
Let's go get that codex.
The dialogue between Isaac and Carver is very out of place if you haven't been playing in co-op and doing its optional missions. In single player, you won't really know Carver's story, and so this dialogue comes out of left field. If you did have a partner and went through Carver's missions though, then you'll know his backstory and how he's racked with guilt over the deaths of his wife and son. It's mentioned briefly at the beginning, but that's not really enough.
Codex! Isaac! I got you! The fuck kind of plan is this? Give it to me! Christ, you're heavy! Isaac, slip it! Isaac! No!
machine!
Isaac manages to regain the Codex, but Carver is somehow teleported away for the sake of single player. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's noticeable earlier on in the game, but in this home stretch, it's incredibly obvious. Also, have a gander at this line.
Isaac, what are you doing?
Finishing something that should have been done a long time ago.
Well, stop it. You're tampering with things you know nothing about.
Right back at you, jackass.
Well, stop it. A friend of mine and I memed that line to this very day because of how unintendedly funny that was. But as Isaac and Carver try to make their way to the machine's controls, Danik taunts him in a very cryptic fashion.
I know you think you're doing the right thing, but you are wrong, Isaac. You have to let me turn off the machine. My reinforcement have arrived with a big surprise.
We find out what that big surprise is once Isaac gets to the controls. Side note, if you're playing solo, then Carver is just standing there, completely oblivious.
Ellie! Isaac, don't do it. Don't listen to him.
Give me the Codex and you can have her back.
No! Isaac, you know what's at stake.
Okay, everybody calm down, okay? Danik, give me the Codex, or I will kill her!
No!
Isaac, what are you doing? You got a second chance. If he turns off the machine, we're all dead. Her? Us? Everyone.
Don't let it all go dark, Isaac. There's more than one kind of right. No! Done it! The darkness is at an end. Let the evolution begin!
When I finish this, it's all going down. Everything. You have to go.
No! You two get out of here. Go back to Earth space. Tell them what we found. I'm staying. That's all I got left.
You can't stop it, Carver. Not without me. I'm the marker killer, remember?
Isaac.
I turned my back on the world because I was afraid of what needed to be done. Ellie, I'm not afraid anymore. There's a shuttle over there. I want you to take it and head for home.
Don't come back for me. We both know I'm not going home. Go!
So Danik's reinforcements were nowhere to be found, but Ellie was somehow of the not dead variety. Carver does the single dumbest decision that could be conceived here and gives the Codex to Danik in exchange for Ellie. Like I mentioned before, if the world ends, you lose the one you care about. Yeah, Isaac gets Ellie back, but now the world is ending and thus the two will die. Way to go. You were doing so well up until now, Carver. But Isaac and Carver make a break across the flying platforms where eventually they confront the moon itself. But it gets its eyes put out in an eerily similar fashion to what happened to Isaac in the last game.
Come on! So this is it, huh? We use that Codex.
Yeah.
No more bullshit. Die here, now.
But Earth gets it tomorrow.
Isaac? Isaac? Are you there? Carver? Isaac? You're gone, aren't you? The mark signal has gone too. Isaac, you did it. You really did it.
Earth space coordinates confirmed. Shock drive enabled. Standing by.
And the two men fall to the planet, where they are presumed dead. No, I am not acknowledging the Awakened DLC. Ellie has not left though, and meekly calls out for Isaac, who cannot respond. She then shocks out, and thus the game ends. Until the post-credits sequence.
Ellie? Ellie?
What, how, and why? Well, that was Dead Space 3. Is it fun? Mostly. Is the writing any good? Not really. So how would I go about sprucing this up while working with the outline we're given? Well, let's give it a shot. To begin, I wouldn't have Isaac being a bum in his apartment doing nothing. Instead, let's have it to where he and Ellie have been on the run from EarthGov and the Unitologists, using fake names to infiltrate both. Have Isaac infiltrate EarthGov, while Ellie pretends to be a Unitologist. While we don't know how, at least from the game's explanation, of how Ellie found out about Tau Volantis, let's have it so that she's with Danik, who runs a radical subsect of his religion. Danik's men were the ones to find its location, and Ellie had to hastily kill them and flee, but not before she sent a message out. But to whom? Certainly not Isaac directly, as he needs to keep his cover. Instead, let's pull from characters we've seen before. A character from Dead Space Extraction and the Severed DLC of Dead Space 2, Lexine Weller. Yeah, I mentioned her earlier. We don't know what happened to her after her husband Gabe died in that DLC, so let's have her involved. Lexine could then flee the Unitologists and make for where Isaac is stationed. She can arrive at a Marker Shroud facility where Isaac is working and give him the news. But then we have the Unitologists attack, and the two have to flee. Isaac has befriended Carver during his time here, and while they aren't exactly warm and fuzzy with each other, they have common ground over hating Unitology after what it's done to both of them. Norton is just another military grunt here, and he had been friends with Carver previously, so he comes along too. The four flee, and they take a ship to the wreckage of the SCAF fleet to escape the attack. From there, they reconvene with Ellie, and things can mostly go as they were in the base game, but instead of a betrayal, Norton was an undercover unitologist the entire time, and gave their coordinates to Danik. Carver is then the one to kill him, enraged over his betrayal. We'll postpone Danik's ambush with the Codex until after the four characters have had a chance to decipher it. Fearing the worst, Isaac and Carver volunteer to proceed down into the machine, but Ellie and Lexine both head back to Earth. This is for two reasons. The first is to warn Earth. The second is to obtain a nice piece of technology that was seen in both of the previous games, but not this one. You see, humanity needed more raw materials, and so they invented planet cracker ships to rip chunks of planets apart to harvest them. The moon is the perfect target to bring this full circle. The moons want species to run dry on resources and thus become dependent on the markers. What end could be more fitting than a brethren moon being torn apart as a result of their own plan? Isaac and Carver are ambushed by Danik, and the unitologist then takes the Codex from them to turn off the machine, taunting them as he did Isaac in the original beginning of the game. But as the moon starts becoming whole, Ellie and Lexine shock in with a stolen planet cracker. Now, you can't operate the systems with just two people, but you probably could fly it there with just a pilot. In the confusion, Isaac and Carver make their way up to the ship, and the four use it to tear the moon asunder. With this system, we can even have Ellie and Lexine as playable characters. I wouldn't do 4-player co-op, but you could have them on their own missions, and the game could switch out your perspective as needed. This way, you can play as Isaac for the bulk of the game, occasionally switching to Carver, Ellie, or Lexine for other segments of the game. You could even give the two women their own rig colors, just like how Isaac has blue and Carver has red. Maybe Ellie could have a cool green, and Lexine could have an orange asymmetrical visor like her husband did. You could even retool some of the rigs from the past games that didn't appear here for them to use. But these are just my thoughts. What were yours? Did you enjoy this game? I know I ragged on it quite a bit, but it's still a fun game for the most part, even if the writing is a bit janky. The remaster of Dead Space 1 is also fun, so if you haven't played that, I would easily recommend it. I would like to thank you for sticking around this long, and leave a like on this video if you're so inclined, and subscribe to see more. And may you all have a weapon in each hand.